Mercedes-AMG Interview Lounge.
Nice to meet you. What a great story behind the song. I want to hear that if you want to give it in a second. But you know what? I love that you. I can tell you're doing your thing. Mm-hmm. This is pure you. I'm not saying that the other stuff you put out wasn't you. Mm-hmm. But you know what? When you went solo and you came out with a string of just great songs, I have to assume that it gives you the confidence to go, okay, let's push it further and let's do what I want to do. Is that, Niall, is that sort of where this comes from?
Yeah, 100%. I guess when I first went solo, I made the exact album that I wanted to make. Good morning, by the way.
Morning.
Exact album that I wanted to make, and then obviously with the success of Slow Hands, in its period where, you know, hip hop and R&B was kind of dominating the radio, I probably shouldn't have really done that well, but I think it stood out because it was, I guess, different. And that's why. And then I walk into the studio making this album with a bit more confidence. Every day you walk in to try and push the boundaries out a little bit, and I thrive off looking at what's on the radio and, you know, on all the different charts, and then try and do something different, as you say.
That's it. So if it's not different, you don't want to do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wouldn't be me if I was just sticking in one lane. I need to be moving around all the time.
I like that. Well, that's what being an artist is all about.
Yeah.
You know, we always equate being an artist with music is the same as being an artist with a canvas and paint.
100%.
You just want to do your own thing. Mm-hmm. So, okay, well, with this music coming out, that means here comes another world tour, another this and that. Are you psyched for that? Is that, or would you rather just go to the studio and record it and just go home?
No. I've realized in the last 10 days how little I've been doing all year.
Okay, let's talk about it. Like,
nice.
What have you been doing? I mean, other than writing.
Well, I'll tell you what, I haven't been up at 6 a.m. in the last year, so that was a bit of a shock.
What time do you usually get up?
About 10 or...
Oh, man.
God bless you.
Yeah, I know. But, I'm ready to go. I'm glad I just took, time to chill. I chilled. I wrote the album, I recorded it. I had enough time to go on holidays. I had enough time to play as much golf as I wanted. I had all the time to do everything. So I'm ready to go. I feel like the music's in a good spot, and it's just good to be back because I'm sick of watching other people sit in this seat.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
yeah. I know. I mean, if you sniff that seat, it will have the smells of many people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, gross.
Does it smell like Louis Capaldi?
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. Let's talk about Louis Capaldi, by the way. Louis Capaldi, I mean, when he came to visit us one morning, we didn't want to let him leave.
No, he's such a sweetie.
I could tell, yeah. The interview was about double the length that it usually is. So I better get that amount of time now.
Okay. Wow. I mean, he is a great example. I think you're all great examples of people that you'd want to hang out with. Just go out drinking, having a good time. But golfing, let's talk about that. You know, Froggy is our golfer.
That's
Froggy
right.
has his own golfing podcast. He does a lot of work with TaylorMade.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
He lets me drive the cart.
Yeah. We've had a similar conversation before, haven't we, I think?
Yes, and I'd love to have you on the podcast sometime if you have time.
All right, let's get on that. All right. No problem at all.
What is it for you about golfing, Niall? I mean, is it out there with nature? And what is it? Because I don't get it.
It's not very exciting, so
it's
we just don't.
No, it is exciting.
It is
no,
exciting.
it's really not.
It is exciting.
It's exciting to see what happens next because it's not all the same twice. No, I just like the getting away from the madness. Like, I live in smack bang in the middle of central London where it's mad, and then I can just get in the car, drive for 30 minutes and be in the middle of nowhere. And I, like a couple of weeks ago, I just got in a golf cart, went around on my own, played around the golf in a couple of hours. Just peaceful.
I know, but you get out there and you do, 18 holes?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm out there on the golf course with Froggy, and I watch him just cursing and throwing his golf club. I mean, he just gets pissed off.
It's frustrating.
But while he's getting pissed off, I get pissed. I drink.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else to do. If you're on the golf, I drive the cart. Remember how drunk I got?
Yes, but Niall understands that all you have to do is hit one good shot. You can be as mad as you want and throw clubs, but then you hit one shot and you're like, I got it. I figured it out.
Yeah.
And
you hit one good shot and then you want to play it all the time.
I always like when I do it, because I took a golf lesson recently, and the grass just comes along with it, and the grass goes flying.
Yeah.
I don't think that's supposed to happen.
But the grass is not supposed to go further than the ball.
No.
You don't want to get it. Whatever. Yeah. Well, I go to Chelsea Piers every once in a while and I try to, because my husband, he likes to hit the balls. And what is that called? You hit balls, whatever.
At the driving range.
Yeah. The driving range.
Yes, the driving range.
And I just F it up. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't do it. I'm going to leave it up to you. But,
congratulations, by the way.
On hitting balls?
No, I'm getting married.
So kind of both on both.
It's the same thing.
I didn't get invited, really, weirdly enough.
Oh.
But Louis Capaldi did.
I bet you he did.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay, let's talk about. But wait, I don't want to end the golf conversation quite yet. So you are actually representing golfers.
Yeah, I have a golf management company that I set up a few years ago back in the UK, and we manage like young male and female golfers who are like up and coming. And yeah, this year's been really good. It took a few years to get off the ground, but all of our players are playing really well. One of our girls, Leona, she just got promoted to the LPGA Tour, the ladies PGA Tour, which is huge. And it's just all kicking off now. It's really fun.
So, but Niall, I can imagine you out at a bar one night, and you're not a musician. You're just you're representing golfers, and someone says, "So, what do you do?" Golf management.
Yeah, sounds good, doesn't it?
Hey, but wait, there is a golfer that you're representing, which I think is a great story. Brendan Lawler.
Yes.
He is a special needs golfer, but you see this talent in this guy.
Yes.
And it is getting quite the golf world buzz that he's out there making a name for himself.
It's huge, yeah. He's number 2 the disability golfer in the world. I played golf with him recently, and then I was just like, I gotta sign this guy. This guy is off the charts. He's Irish too, which is good. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Right.
He hits the ball a mile, and he wins all the time. He's like winning huge events on the European tour, and he's like proper like inspiring. That's
awesome.
Like the guy plays with, he plays full length clubs, full length like courses that like the pros play, and he's smashing it up like he's insane. And just recently we just signed him, and he's conquering the world of golf at the minute.
You see, I mean, the life lesson for all of us that we're learning from Niall here is it's great to have your number one passion. It's great to have a side hustle. It's great to have several passions going at once. And I think being a performer, being an artist, being a writer, you can't just do that. Mm-hmm. Just being on the radio like we're doing, we can't just do that, because this becomes more special if we can be out there telling a story somewhere else. Doing something else. I think that's awesome what you're doing.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to cry, but let's talk about your golf, your mom pants.
I tell you what, I've never received so much abuse over a pair of jeans. I think they look all right.
Well, I know, but they do, and I know that they're the thing.
90s.
They're the thing right now.
I'm in New York, 90s New York.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We're all living
like a Yankees hat and a bomber jacket.
We're all living in the past.
Get that Yankee hat.
We're all living in the past here in New York. We had a text message. Oh my God, golfing is so boring. I'd rather have my testicles ripped off and used as golf balls.
Oh, gee. Well,
we can do that.
It is
That's
so
lovely.
It is so rare.
Absolutely no problem. Come over here.
So nice to meet you. Of course, here at iHeart, our number one added song this past week.
Yes.
Because I know you hung out with Tom Pullman.
Yes.
Who happens to work for me.
Of course.
He's one of my.
Wait.
One of the
You
juniors.
work for him.
No, he's one of Elvis's minions.
No, he pretty much works for me.
Oh, okay.
I love that.
But anyway, he was talking about, you guys were hanging out in the studio or something. He was talking about how exciting the whole album sounds.
Yeah, I played some tunes to the guys at Tom and the guys at iHeart last night in the studio, just to kind of give them a fair idea of what's coming up and potential singles and the rest of the album. And the reaction was pretty nice. And because I spend the whole year just sitting on my own listening to these songs, and like 2 people in my management and a few people at the label, and then it was good to actually feel actual feedback from people who do it on a daily basis. But I mean, iHeart have been so good to me with, like, this is the number one added song in the country right now on radio.
That's excellent. Well,
which is just insane, really.
I have personally put together a great collection of people to work for me here at iHeart.
So, I'm thank you, Elvis.
You're very welcome. I take full credit for your career. Okay, so I will tell you something on a personal level, much lesser than you and your music and your album, Niall. I put this book out, right?
Yes.
So I was wondering. So I got to tell you a story. When a total stranger read it and actually sent me a tweet, he said, "I got to be honest about your book." I'm thinking. And before he gave me his honest opinion about what I had written, I thought this must be what it's like to put out an album. And then you just sit there and wait to hear what they say.
Yeah.
Right? So when you were sitting in the room in the studio last night with the iHeart people, were you just kind of looking around, like waiting to see, like watching their facial expressions while listening to your music?
I try and I face the speakers to pretend like I'm so deep in artists. I'm just listening to the groove, man. But actually, I'm just like, don't look, because you actually find out what people think if you look around.
Wow.
I know, but honestly, the reaction was good. It's an awkward thing to do. Like, hearing yourself back in general is quite awkward, I think.
Yes.
I'm obviously proud of the music, but I'm sitting there just kind of like hoping that they like it, and you have to wait that grueling 3.5 minutes to find out.
But Niall, it's not like you made them a grilled cheese sandwich or something, and then you're waiting for them to say, "Oh, that's good." As an artist, you write words. These are thoughts. These are your life stories, basically, and you put them with the rhythm of how you think it would match, and you put a lot of it's your heart you put in there, and then you like it. It's good enough for other people to hear, and you just sit there and go, "Oh God." Please, Lord, let them like it.
But because they're the ones that have to play it on the radio,
right? Well, if they so choose to.
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
But when Slow Hand and those songs came out, do you remember what it was like when you felt people actually liked your music? They actually liked what you did. They liked what you put your heart and soul into.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shock, like, because a lot of that album was quite like acoustic based, apart from maybe Slow Hands and On the Loose. Like a lot of the rest of them were just quite chilled out. And then when you hear people read stats out of like 4 billion streams. Like, what? Who invented numbers like that? I didn't even know they existed. And when you're doing it, you don't realize what's going on. It's like talking into this mic. There's millions listening, but when you're talking here, we're just sitting chatting. There's like 4 or 5 of us. You don't realize until it goes out. And then you're like, Slow Hands ended up being like one of the songs of the summer that year. And I didn't realize, because I'm just going around playing the shows and doing the interviews, and you don't realize until you read stats back and see charts and stuff like that, where you're just like, oh my God, that's me.
Well, I'm going to ask you to say something. It is you. So when people stream slow, they've streamed Slow Hand 4 billion times. What is that? Why is that? Why did they do that? Say it. I want to hear you say it.
Because it's a good song.
And because they thought it was great.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think they think it was great because it was so different.
Well, no, but I guess my point here is, is it easy for you to accept the fact that you're really great at what you do?
I suppose I'm all right. I'm in the top few percent. I know
it's hard to do that.
It is hard. Like, I've been doing it for 10 years, and you don't imagine that. Like, nearly 10 years I've been coming doing this, and you never, like, if you got used to it, there's something wrong with you, because it's not like, it's not a normal thing to do.
And you always want to get better, and I get that.
Yeah, you're always trying to outdo yourself, and you never you never think that. I just don't see it as me.
And that's fine.
It's great, which is a good thing.
And that's fine. But
then I can be me, and then I can also be music me.
It's one thing to let people look at you and say, God, your music is great. It's another thing if you, in the quiet of your own night by yourself in your hotel room, can say out loud or to yourself, oh my God, I really hit it out of the park. I'm really proud of myself. That's good. That's what you really should work toward. That.
No, to be fair, I do. Like, I'm like, God, I wrote that song. Yeah, sometimes I'm listening to it like, Nice to Meet You. Another one is so different, like, to what's on the radio at the moment. Like, it stands out. Like, I was looking at some of the songs that were added to the radio this week, and it's a million miles away from all of them.
Good.
And I heard, then I listen to it all the time, and I'm listening to 20 mixes of it, and I'm listening to it every day, and I don't know what people think. And then you go out and you hear the reaction, and it's just not fathomable. But then at the end of the day, you're like, I wrote that.
Good.
I wrote that song.
So wait, what happened to the person you wrote it about? Like, the whole story? I know. Tell the story. I love the story, but I want to know what happened after.
To be honest.
Did you do her?
It's horrific talk.
It's about a girl you met in the bar, right?
Yeah, they locked eyes, right?
Yeah,
Tell the story.
That was cool. It was like it's not a crazy story. It's just like, I'm a songwriter, so I elaborate. I make it sound a little bit more interesting than it is. But the kind of like, just being out, like, I was out with a few of my mates, and we were just having a beer on a Friday evening, and I was just with like a group of my friends, and then just locked eyes with this girl, and we got chatting, and both of our friend groups merged for the evening, and then we kept splitting off, and we were in Soho in London, and there's lots of like little bars within a small area. And it just felt like we'd lose each other, but then when we'd see each other, we'd be like, where have you been? And we'd always end up in the same bar. And I just kind of thought even though I was drunk, it sounded like a good story in my head. So I wrote a song about it. And it's just kind of very, like, the lyrics not overthought. Same with kind of Slow Hands. It was more about the jam of the song and just kind of spitting lyrics out, having a mic like this in my hand, and just walking around the studio going, nice to meet you! You know, like, and not overthinking it, because I guess I'm known for a lot of the time for just sitting down and being the guy who has the acoustic guitar and the really sad songs. So when I get a chance to rock out, I definitely go for it and don't overthink lyric.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah,
it does.
When you meet a girl out at a bar like that, how do you introduce yourself? Like, hi, I'm Niall Horan. I'm super famous.
No.
Nice to meet you.
Weirdly enough, no. No, I try and do the complete opposite.
Do you ever lie? If they don't recognize you, do you tell them?
Oh no, I've told multiple lies.
Like, who have you been? You're Niall Horan, musician, but what have you said? My name is Charlie.
No, I go with Niall, and then I remember when I went. I don't know if you know, but I went backpacking in Asia in like 2016 with two of my cousins.
Right.
And we just kind of were going around the rucksack, staying at hostels, kind of like it was really cool. But I was going around. And then we'd go to a bar at night, and if I could feel that no one was recognising me, I'd just, right, that's good. So then I'd go, my cousin works in property, and he works for WeWork or whatever, and I'd say that I worked for WeWork with him.
Right.
And he would just give me some facts on the job that he does, so I had enough to talk about, and he could jump in on the conversation if I got stuck. So I was never a singer for 10 weeks in Asia.
That must have been fun, though, being someone else for a minute.
It's great fun. Yeah.
I work at WeWork.
I love telling compulsive lies just for the laugh.
Well, so what kind of makes me? Hold on, then. What the hell have we been talking about?
It's all a lie.
But when you meet someone now, you can't say "nice to meet you" because.
By the way,
the
the song's been out about 5 days. I'm sick of it already. People coming up just going, nice to meet you. I had to do it.
It's your fault.
You did not have to do it.
It's your fault.
And you know what? I should have just called the song Disappear or something like that. Because actually, it's the protruding word in the song, and I should have just called it Disappear because nice to meet you is doing my head in already.
It's nice to meet you. It's fine. You know what? Just get used to it.
It's a regular occurrence. Just
Get over it.
Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. And now when I see other people going, nice to meet you, I feel like they're just going,
well, see,
he's over there. He's over there.
Well, nice to meet you is one way. Here in America, it's how you doing.
How you doing?
Yeah,
If someone says, how you doing? And
What's up?
Here's the problem. It's just because I say how you doing to you doesn't mean I want you to answer me. How you doing is like, hi.
Yeah.
But you would go, nice to meet you too. Or nice to see you. So I've started saying see you now instead, even if I haven't met them before.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
That's safe.
But if someone asks me how I'm doing,
I just want to keep away from the pun as far as I can.
If someone asks me how I'm doing, I'll answer them. Oh God, I've got this hemorrhoid. Coming right.
Always a lovely story by you, Elvis, I have to say.
Right out of my little chocolate Cheerio.
Oh my God!
Good morning, America.
Why not? But don't ask me how I'm doing unless you want to know. Why are you throwing things at me? Anyway, back to you, Niall. Niall, of course, nice to meet you. Even though we've heard right here, he hates the song. I know you have a lot of work ahead of you, and I can't wait to hear more from your album. I'm assuming there's a lot of guitars on there. I'm thinking that's probably where it's going.
I mean, there's some very sad songs. It wouldn't be an album of mine if there was no sad songs. We love a sad song.
I love
They're fun to write. But yeah, there's definitely more guitar on this one. It's up tempo. Probably come out in like February next year. I'll be doing all the jingle balls and stuff.
All right.
It's a good period. It's good to be back, Elvis. I'm not going to lie.
Well, Wayne, you're going to be at our Jingle Ball this year, too.
Yep, I am.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you back, Niall.
Thanks very much for having me.
You're always just so kind and so cool.
Thank you.
And we appreciate it.
Congratulations on the book and the marriage. Tell you what a couple of weeks it's been for you, huh?
Yeah. 3 weeks.
This is not signed, and I didn't get invited to the wedding.
I'll sign it. And congratulations on the golf and the mom jeans. I think they look great.
Thanks.
I'm going to play it again. Are we running late? Yeah. I'm going to play a song again.
Fine.
Wow.
No,
I like the song, so go for it.
It's definitely fine. I said so.
Thanks for coming in. Nice to meet you, Niall Horan.